True Talkers. It is your girl LaToya and my sister
Charity.
And this is Sisters on the Sofa.
Nah, come on.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Right quick. Yeah. Enough of that Sisters on the Sofa and all that.
Wait, hold up. Y'all, we have to do this together. Sisters on the Sofa, time, brothers on the bench.
Okay, all right.
All right, we can get with it.
What's up, you guys? It is True Talks with Toya.
Sisters on the Sofa.
Times.
Brothers on the bench.
Y'all, I have my brothers with me on tonight, and I am super duper excited because we have a special episode, all right? Our brothers are here, and I want you guys to get to know them a little bit before we get started on the conversation. All right, so who wants to go first and introduce themselves?
Cam.
Of course, my husband.
Okay. He didn't say my name, but my name is Kevin Haynes Jr. and I am this young lady's husband.
My name is Brandon Davis.
What's up, y'all? I'm Henry Harris.
Phillip Crusoe, but I go by PJ.
And I'm William Johnson, but everybody call me Bemmer.
Beamer.
Y'all heard that? Y'all already know.
They call it a little bit.
It's your girl.
Chicken nugget.
Don't do that. It's Charity.
It is charity, y'all. So we wanted to do something so special, okay? First of all, before we even get started, y'all already know what to do. What they supposed to do, y'all?
Like,
comment,
share, and subscribe.
There we go. Okay?
That
works.
All of it.
Thank you. What they said, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe just to stay up to date with all of my latest videos and the things that are getting ready to come, y'all, in 2023. Can y'all believe it? We are in a whole new year already, y'all. 2023. And so before just getting into the new year, I just want to kind of have a conversation with you all and just allow everything that Charity and I kind of discussed on Sisters on the Sofa. I wanted to bring these topics from a male's perspective, and so I invited my brothers on here because number one, y'all, the three things, black men, they're married and they're men of God, y'all, and so they're going to be spitting so much fire and wisdom. So I'm so excited just for you guys to hear what they have to say. So with that being said, y'all ready to get started?
I'm ready to do it.
All right, y'all. Let's get started.
Gotta show y'all.
We about to find out.
Already.
All right, y'all.
All right, so we're gonna jump right on into it, right? So, question for you guys:
Okay.
what are some practical ways that you guys care for your mental space?
Man.
I guess I'll go first. So, I think for me personally, it's been a blessing that the way that God has kind of worked my schedule. So, at work, I get Fridays off, right? And so, oftentimes if you look at the Gospels, you would see like after Jesus did something like supernatural, he was going on about his day, like he would often go off to solitude, right? And so I just think having a day or some time or somewhere in your schedule to where you could just be by yourself, and my Fridays are not, I'm not going to over spiritualize it, right? So I'm not just praying 6-7 hours a day on my Friday, right? I might go wash my car, right? I might go get the lunch that I want to get, right? But it's just like a day where I'm just kind of free, and that's just super dope for me, so.
Yes, sir.
I go. I'm kind of like him. I'm off on Sundays and Mondays, so my Mondays, my wife is at work, my son is at school. I just do nothing.
Yeah,
I do nothing unless I have to go and shop for somebody, and I love shopping, so that's kind of my therapy also.
Yeah.
So unless I'm shopping for someone, and I'm talking about clothes, y'all. I like to shop for clothes.
okay.
If I'm not doing that, then I'm just at the house doing nothing.
Rest.
I love it.
I know, me too.
Rest.
Dress guys, I know, I'm sorry.
Had to say that. Right.
No, but I agree. Just taking that mental health day. What I would do, I would normally listen to music. Some people undervalue how much therapy music can give you.
Yes, sir.
That and also, spending time by yourself, just meditating. God speak to you in those times. So obviously he'll take care of your mental health and need.
Yeah. For sure.
Just real short, I think intentionally verbalizing like where you are in your headspace, like saying it out loud, like, dang, I'm having a good day today, or my nerves is really bad, I need to chill out. Just if I verbalize it to myself, then I know what I need to address or what I need to celebrate about, where I am in my mental space.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
That's great.
Everything they said is great. I say just to add to it, keep people around you that's gonna make sure you're at peace.
Yes, sir.
In your
That's
home
good.
and outside.
Yes, sir.
That's good.
Come on.
Yes, sir.
So, but one thing I wanted to say was the reason why we asked the question on mental health, number one, is because if you all know, in 2022, we lost a lot of men. And so my heart really just goes out for men, especially because I feel like a lot of times women, we have like the outlet, we go hang out with our girls and things like that. And not saying that men don't, hang out with their boys with basketball and things like that. But sometimes men are not really there to vocalize, kind of what y'all said, what's really going on to someone else. And so I wanted to ask the question, like, how do you guys check in on your brothers? Like, how do you guys check in on your friends?
I'll start with that. Transparency. Even though we don't open up much, when you do have that opportunity to open that door, we men, so we gonna talk, regardless of what it is. So I think just being transparent and just taking that dive will open up doors to express, to communicate.
Okay.
It's funny we're talking about this because this year for me has why I made a vow to specifically focus on stewarding friendships with my brothers. So just simply shooting a text once a week or once a month, just asking how you doing, how you feeling, and actually waiting on an intentional answer, a detailed answer about how they feeling and how the day is going. I think creating that space, like you said, for us to just communicate how we actually feeling to one another, it kind of provides us with a safe space to express how we actually feel.
That's interesting.
I think for me, I like text messages, but I do a lot better with phone calls, right? Because I'm not a texter. I'm not like, I can't really put all my focus or say all the things that I want to say in a text. And so, like, for me, phone calls work. And during those phone calls, I think using questions to go a little bit deeper is a great tool. Like, questions they kind of bring us into a deeper intimacy with people. Why you did that? Or did you consider this? Or what didn't you do in this situation? How would you do differently? And so using questions to kind of get down a little bit deeper than what's happening, how you doing, what's going on, it helps,
In a short amount of time we've been talking, I've noticed he intentionally asked questions, and I'm like, dang, I really got to think about the answer to that. Let me take a minute and really be genuine about how I'm responding. So that's true that you do that.
That's good.
And for me, I don't like to text or call. But it's no. I feel that. But hold on. So I will tell people out there, find out what your Enneagram number is. So go and take the Enneagram test and find out what your Enneagram number, because that helps in relationships a lot. I found out that I teeter between the 6 and the 5, and if I'm leaning more towards 5 now. So I like to be isolated, and all the time that I'm isolated is not bad. Sometimes it is. So my friends do have to check on me, and I had to tell them, "Nah, I'm good. I just need that time." But the text, and I'll text them. Certain people I won't text, especially if I feel like you're gonna drain me. So I don't text you. And if you, what's bad about that, and I have to be intentional also, is calls. Sometimes people will be laid upon my heart and I want to call them, but it's at the wrong time. And I know if I call them, it's going to be a long call, so I don't call them, and it's tragic. You know what I'm saying? But I do have to work on that also.
What I have to say is, recently I remember the death of Twitch, I believe, and Kirk Franklin was talking about how you got to be intentional about just annoying people. Like, it sounds crazy, but literally annoy that person, have a relationship to the point where you can, just kind of laugh and have joy on the phone, but then also make sure you're asking the difficult questions, kind of like he said, just literally annoy them, make sure that you're always in their life so that nothing like that happens, in the future.
That's good.
And can I say, I just want to say something short. I just feel like the majority of the people that's in here are in ministry. And I'm sure you're going to go higher in ministry. What I've learned while I've been in ministry, that you may lose some people that you can be yourself with because of the mantle, but God will give you other people. So be intentional of watching who God give you that will understand the mantle, but still love who you are.
That's good.
And understand.
Being able to relate to you personally.
Christ relationship.
Look, Christ had had 12, but he had 3.
Right.
And he was real with the 3. He did things with the 3 that he couldn't do with the 12.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I think that directly again ties to kind of like our next shift. And friendship, we know is already just difficult. Like if you're not going through nothing, y'all not friends. Like I want to know what we look like when we get to those tough seasons, right? Because as long as everything is peaches and cream, we're good. But what happens when things aren't so great? So just in adulthood, naturally as your life is evolving, your friendships and your relationships are evolving. So in this stage in you guys' adult life, what does friendship look like for you, and what does it mean? Like how has that changed over the last, I don't even want to say year, because things literally happen like this.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay.
Man.
So what does that look like for you guys?
That's crazy you said that. Just yesterday, my growing up, my best friend, his mom passed last night. And she had been in the hospital a couple of days, and I didn't find out that she was in the hospital or that she passed until this morning when she had passed. And so for me, I took that kind of hard because it's like, dang, I didn't even know she was in the hospital. And we used to talk every day, all day. We were close, you know what I'm saying? And so it kind of took a toll on me because it made me think about everything that we're talking about. How often have you been checking in? How often have you know what I'm saying? Do you honestly know how your friend is? You know, y'all were close at one point, but like you said, adulthood kind of changes the dynamic of how consistently we can touch base with people. You know what I'm saying? So all of the questions that y'all are asking are really, really good questions, and it puts that on the forefront of our mind, like how intentional are we being?
Yeah.
So just to kind of segue into that portion is, you know, it's a really good topic.
I agree with that because I value my friendships highly.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I get jealous. I'm not even gonna lie.
Come on.
So like,
Jealous. I don't want to admit that, but that's real though.
Yeah,
for real.
Yeah.
I'll say, I mean, if I would be hurt, I don't know how you not hurt, because if that's his mom, that's my mom too.
Right.
I'll be
Exactly.
like, how could you? But on another note,
We said that.
I really value that friendship, all of my friendships at that same level. Man, woman, child, it's that same level.
Yeah.
Come on, I like that. I really do.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. So for me, I'm a loyalist, like to the core. So it's hard for me to have a million friends. And I tend to kind of judge people, forgive me, that have a million friends a little bit. But that's because I'm a loyalist. And what I've learned in this season though, because I hold on tight to the small group that I have.
Yeah.
But God has placed other people in my life that I'm like, okay, this person is a friend, and it'd be a friend for a certain reason. Like I have a group of friends, and we talk every day. But they're not my only friends. I got a friend that I've talked fashion, clothes, and like me and him, I call him my twin because me and him think alike.
Yeah.
But they don't take away from them cluster of friends that I have, and then I have other friends for other things. And some people aren't friends. I might be their friend, but they're not my friend.
That's real.
That part. That's so realistic part.
But it's okay because I will still be there.
Right.
I may not be vulnerable with them, but I'll be transparent.
Yeah.
And then also creating a space for them to be vulnerable, even if you don't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Let them be vulnerable.
Thinking that comes with sometimes your position, but you have to know your position in those relationships.
Definitely, I was getting ready to say.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's what Christ does, is he establishes what that position looks like. And that person, like, through love,
Yeah, 1,000%.
Oh, it's my turn. I was gonna ask you a question because in my mind I can't separate transparency from being vulnerable.
Yeah.
Right. So like, how can you be vulnerable without being transparent, or vice versa?
Well, vulnerable is
Pause for the cause.
stuff that. So I got friends that legit I tell some things that I can't even tell my wife.
Okay.
You feel what I'm saying? Because sometimes women can't handle
Okay.
everything. They want everything, but you can't handle it, right? So I have that.
Be real.
Transparent though is like
You real.
you saying, "Hey, bro, I hang with such and such," and I be like, "Say, bro, I'm cool with you. I don't mess with them." Instead of me just letting you bring them around me, I'm letting you know I don't mess with them. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So transparent is being, I'm gonna be honest with you, but vulnerable is a deeper level of transparency.
Like
basically.
intimacy.
So I guess you're like selective in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like what I do decide to express to you is going to be real, but that don't mean I'm going to
spill my beans.
exactly like completely submit all of my information to you. I guess.
Selective though.
Yes.
Like,
It is.
It has to be selective.
Yes. Different relationships.
Because everybody don't know what to do with your business.
Yeah.
Well, I guess in the sense of conversation. So it's like if I'm vulnerable with you, should I be selective? Or at that point, is vulnerability?
I think that's wisdom.
Straight out the
Look, and that's what I was telling you about when you're talking
about
about friends, right? So with your friends, you feel like you should be able to tell them anything, right? Now, what happens if you tell your friend something that nobody else knows, and then everybody else finds out? How would you feel?
I feel bad.
Exactly. So it's certain people, especially again the mantle part. When you become in a certain level, especially in ministry, where people not gonna be able to handle who you are as a person versus what your mantle is, because they're looking at you right here, but they're not understanding that you are still a person.
Yeah.
Right.
And you got this right here.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Right. So you do have to monitor it, and you also got to use discernment.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I'm be honest with you. This might be a little toxic.
It's a true talk.
Look, this might be toxic. This might be a little toxic, but
Speak the truth.
I don't do it as much. But I used to test my friends. I'll tell them something, and I'll see if it come back around. And if it come back around, I'm like, I don't mess with you.
Right.
Oh.
Well, that's a tricky game to play, boy.
And look.
I'm gonna try that tomorrow.
That's why you gotta ask questions like this. That's real.
That's real. That's real.
But you have to understand
Different
though,
mindsets, too.
in life is levels to it. You got to know who your friends are, what they will do, and what they don't. Because you might lose a friend that sincerely love you and will go to bat for you and is there for you just because they said something and they didn't know they didn't supposed to say it. They didn't know that you were testing them, right?
Right.
So you have to make sure that that you know the levels.
Yep.
Ooh, that's a good
And
point. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and that also, I guess, makes you aware of the fact that you gotta also establish kind of like a covenant to say like, okay, this is the level of this conversation, and this is how far it needs to go. That almost helps you pick which friends to tell who, you know, or tell what, you know.
Yeah. Man, whew, that was some real right there. But y'all helping me because, I mean, when we have the conversation all the time on Sisters on the Sofa, that's one thing, like, I think that we all deal with, like, being Christians, like you said, and also, like you said, having a mantle, in a sense, or, like, when people see you a certain way, I think sometimes it's that challenge when it comes to friendships that you think that you have friends that you can really be vulnerable with, but at the same time, you know how some people have a hard time just seeing you as human.
Yeah.
Because you can, no matter how big or small your problem is they still looking at you like, your problem still ain't that big.
You're supposed to be the pastor.
Yeah. Or they just looking at it as like, you know, you're not struggling at all, but it can be something to you, but to other people, if they keep seeing you on this pedestal, they never really able to relate. So I think that can help so many people. Yeah.
I think that's a serious struggle when you have friends who aren't, for one, who aren't in ministry, but who aren't really saved. Like, you befriend them, but they don't.
A big one.
Such a distance, especially if y'all on two totally different tracks.
But you know, and
even that hurts in some cases when you have to separate to a certain extent.
I agree.
Yeah.
And I think that goes to the point that you're making about understanding your boundaries, right? So it's like certain friends, I understand. You saved, sanctified, filled with Holy Spirit. Like, I can go here with you, right? We can joke about things I might not joke about with my unsaved friend, right? Because they don't judge me for it, right? And so, in my mind, I'm always remembering that I'm still on assignment by God with every relationship that I'm in, right? I'm still representing Christ, right? And so, if I allow this person to see something that they're not able to handle, right, or whatever, not saying it's some deep sin, but it's like, sometimes people expect for Christians to live a perfect, you know what I'm saying, like holy, sanctified life. And it's like, in reality, just like you're saying, we still flesh, right? And until Jesus come back, we still gonna battle with that flesh, right? And so, you know, just knowing who's in front of you and remembering, okay, I'm still on assignment. I want to see my friend saved.
Right.
So let me represent Jesus to the best of my abilities to this person.
Right. Now let me bring something to it. What did Jesus ask Peter? Who do they say that I am?
Mm.
And he said a drunk and a glutton. Right? That's what Peter said. And then Jesus asked Peter, well, who do you say I am?
Mm-hmm.
And he said, you are the son
he
of
said,
Moses.
some say you're Elisha, some say John the Baptist.
Right.
Yeah. I got you.
Right? And then he said, only the Holy Spirit told you
Revealed that
that.
to me. Yep.
I look back at that. So a lot of people will say, well, they were looking from afar. No, people was there. They called him that because they seen it.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
They seen him feasting. So they call him that because they seen him feasting. So I will ask this.
See what you're saying.
What does God say about certain things? Because us as people, we will place certain things on people, certain sins on people.
Yep.
And God, like, I didn't even mean that for that to be that way.
Titles and
Right?
That's a good point.
Yeah, one thing I've been hearing a lot recently from family, that you just can't place God in a box.
Right.
You can try your hardest to understand him, but it will do you no good to place him in a specific box of understanding his true nature for specific miracles, specific trials he put you through in all total.
for sure.
And I don't want nobody to think out there that I'm saying it's free to sin. That's not what I'm saying.
Right.
What I'm saying is sin is what draws you away from God. So you have to figure out your relationship with God.
Mm-hmm.
But you also got to make sure that you're not a stumbling block for the people that's in your life.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Man. That is so good. All right, we so good. So being that we're talking about friendships and things like that, and being that y'all talked about friendships seeing you at different areas of your life. So like, what are some qualities that y'all actually look for in friendships? Like some characteristics that y'all look for.
I would say give like at least 2 specific,
All right, let me
narrow down.
I got 2.
You gotta give them in detail.
All right. So I need friends who are
I like how you said that.
in this phase of life that I'm in, that's actually doing what I'm doing or about to do what I'm doing or has done what I'm doing. So if you married, right, we can probably click. If you in ministry, we could probably click. If you trying to start another business or do real estate or whatever, if I can learn from you, whatever, we could probably click. But it's like, I need you to be on my path.
Yeah.
If you're a new friend, right? Like if you're an old friend, we just kind of stuck together, right? But like new friends, like you need to be, you need to be a part of on my path.
Definitely.
All right, so
That's good.
I don't know if I have 2. I know one. One is that like you gotta be real with me, and that don't mean like mean. That don't mean aggressive. You just gotta be real with me. If you in the mud, I need to see you in the mud. I need to know that you're in the mud. Like don't paint no picture for me. Don't tell me nothing because you think I want to hear it. None of that. Like I need it to be 100% real. And from there we can go to the moon and back. I don't care about nothing else. As long as we keeping it 100, I know we can be genuine friends.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
That's all I have.
And that's why I keep it 100 with him because I do not play with him.
She already know. Don't start telling
Because they fight all day.
all day.
All right, back to the question. That was good.
I hate to say a cliche, but the saying, if you're the smartest in the room, there's a problem.
Yeah.
I always make it a point to surround myself with smart people. But not only just because, you can eat off that, but just like how Brandon was saying earlier, he challenges conversations with these questions. Yeah. So if I can't be around a friend who's challenging me with questions, there's a problem. I mean, we can get there, but ultimately there's a problem.
That's good.
That's
Challenge.
Yeah.
To that fact, like people who we consider smart, they can offer us something, but everybody needs something. And I feel like a lot of times when people have
That
things that
balance.
contrast what we have something to offer them.
Yeah, that's right.
So just adding that to what you just said. Yeah.
Like,
Not competing.
I don't offer anything, but it's
Yeah.
good.
I need friends that's gonna cover me.
Yeah.
It's a big one.
Explain it.
Because they may not understand what
cover means. You know, when I'm going through it, you're gonna pray for me.
Good, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That you're gonna tell me when I'm wrong, and I have to respect you. Well, if you're my friend, I respect you.
Yeah.
So, but you know, you have to cover me, and you have to be able to say, "Hey, Bemmer, you wrong," and still, you know, cover me and love me, and no matter what my wrong is, you can still love me, but chastise me too. Oh, and I'm gonna tell you right now, if you come to me and say I want to be your friend, 9 times out of 10 we're not gonna be friends.
Why not?
Wait a minute, y'all. Why? Pause for the cause. Right, run that back. What did you mean by that? Like, explain to the truth talkers what you mean by that.
So for me, if you come to me and you say I want to be your friend, it's already a red flag for me. And I apologize, but that's just how I work. I'm more like an organic relationship.
Yeah.
If we cool, I done seen you a few times and I done failed you out. I'm like, what's up, man? Give me your number, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like let me be your friend. You know what I'm saying? I done been hurt, you know, plenty of times. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm healing from abandonment issues from my childhood. You know what I'm saying? With my dad, and I love my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a better relationship now, but it's still a process.
Yeah.
So for me, letting people in is better now, but it was very hard. So you come to me and be like, I want to be your friend. I'm gonna feel like you
looking at it
Want
kind of
something.
childish
you
a
lining
little
me
bit.
up. You lining me up.
I can relate to that. I always say I hate forced friendships.
Yeah.
I can't stand being your friend just because we go to church together. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to be your friend just because our parents are friends. Like, you know what I'm saying? I enjoy an organic friendship, like you said.
So maybe the delivery was like
Harsh.
That's the thing. Like, I
But
just
the
can't
logic-
imagine. I just can't imagine a random walking up to me like, Brandon, I want to be your friend.
People do it.
Like you don't.
I was ready to say
Like if
people
you've never seen me, you don't operate in my space. Like I'm like you walking by me in the mall and like, hey, I want to be your friend. Now that's weird.
Yeah.
Right. But if it's somebody that's like, yo, rather than just saying blatantly, yo, can I be your friend? It's like, yo, what you doing this weekend? What's your IG?
Yeah,
Can we kick it? You know what I'm saying? Like something like that's how I interpret. Can I be your friend? It's not so much.
We gotta meet each other a couple more times though. Like, I gotta, you know what I'm saying?
We gotta run into each other first.
Yeah, before the title, that makes
You know what I'm
before the
saying?
title of
Yeah.
friendship. Like,
And
it needs to
then
be
like
included.
because legit, you know what I'm saying? I done been in places, especially because it's weird. It's weird now in ministry because once you get into ministry, people start gravitating to you, and you be like, yo. Why are you don't even say anything to me at church? Why are we friends on Facebook? Why are you trying to be my friend?
Yeah.
Now you didn't say
That's the big
anything
problem nowadays.
until
You know, you're just trying to be nosy.
And we haven't shared walks with Christ.
Yeah.
Like we still being natural.
Or the conversation where you having the conversation like this, and then a young lady or older lady be like, "Ooh, my husband or my boyfriend need a friend like you. Can y'all link?" No.
well.
That'd be tough, bro.
Real
That'd be
talk.
tough, bro.
No.
But real talk though, like it's harsh, but in reality, that's a lot of spiritual warfare in a friendship union. So you got to be prepared. Like you said, you got to cover each other. If you're not ready to cover me and just gonna say I want to be your friend, that's not something.
Right.
We have to be on agreement to look. We ready to attack these demons for real. So.
And they're not going to be your friend. They're going to be your assignment. And did God tell me that is my assignment?
That's a whole other level right there.
Yeah.
Man, we don't check
fight
the wrong
battles
about
that we were
friendship.
never meant to fight.
And I like what you said. We don't check in with God enough about friendships. But I think at the end of the day, too, and I'm going to be quiet because I know we got to get to the next point, was that it's the perspective. You know what I'm saying? Because if you look at it, you know, like I love to talk about the songs, No New Friends, you know, like what social media put out there, you know what I'm saying? Like cutoff season, like people don't really value friendships, but like this is from a perspective of people who truly value friendship. And so like that's encouragement for you if you genuinely want to. And the Bible says in order to be friends, you got to show yourself friendly.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can't
That's
have the
what
expectation. A lot of times we always thinking like I'm automatically just have a group of friends or people need to come, but it's not, you know. And too, on the flip side of that, I do understand personal things within abandonment, rejection, stuff like that. But there are people who do admire, you know, you and your walk with Christ, but sometimes they don't know how to. They want to be a part of your life without coming off as clingy or you know what I'm saying, like what's the word for it? But they don't want to come off in a way of which like, oh, I'm just trying to be a friend to get something from you. But more so, people really do admire the call that you have on your life, and it's like they feel like they may not need you necessarily, but they might need you to help guide them in the right direction so they can get to you know their true friends. Because like you said, forced friendships really never work. But then when they God led, then God know how.
And that's just real quick. I just think, for real, I just think when it comes to people and relationships, we have to be sensitive, right? Because I can. This person might be housing my breakthrough or whatever. Like I don't know who you are, right? But if I'm just automatically, nah, we good, I might miss something. That you have for me, that God has for me through you.
Hold on, no. So I want to say this. I don't. So the delivery is not that, because I do understand that, right? And you may end up being a friend. You know what I'm saying? But for right now, we're not gonna be friends. I will communicate with you. You know what I'm saying? We can have conversation. Yeah, we just not gonna give that title. Because you do. We dealing with people, right? And there's a lot of hurt people, especially in churches. You know, the church is for the hurt, right? So you don't want people that's hurt to feel like they're rejected. So I wouldn't reject you. I wouldn't. But you have to know that people know the space. So if I feel like you need me, then I'm gonna be there for you. That don't mean I'm gonna be your friend though.
That even goes back to what we were saying earlier about being vulnerable with certain people or what level of vulnerability they have. If we friends, then I can be vulnerable with you, you know. But if we're just associates, if I'm just meeting you, I can't dive completely in yet. So I get what you're saying. There's levels to friendship. You know?
Yeah, definitely.
I was gonna say like that's kind of where investment comes in too. And I think others kind of shed light on that too. But like I can say everybody that's sitting behind me has invested in my life some kind of way. And I think that goes a long way too. It's like, can I actually invest in this person? Not even just spiritually, but like naturally as well too. Because I feel like we're just coming out of Christmas. Like something as simple as the mindset of gifting somebody with something can go a long way. And it's not just monetarily either. You know?
Come on.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And
Appreciate you, brother.
And in everything, you do have to love people. So I don't want my words, because I can't come off harsh. I apologize.
We brought it back home.
You know what I'm saying? You still have to love people.
Definitely. Yeah.
They will know you by your love towards another.
Yeah.
I love people.
Tell you in love. I don't need no new friends.
So like, I guess sum all that up. I just had a thought that like I think as much as the Lord knows you in your individuality, He knows whoever else is on the other side of you. So whatever is meant to be in connection is gonna work. Yeah.
Come on.
So that's just
Hey, preacher.
a little thing.
Pick that up.
That's a little good job. But I guess we'll move on to the next, right? So naturally, in relationships, in friendships, in male-hoods, and what y'all call it, like romances and all that.
We don't say
I'm
that.
Wait, you said romances? You said romances.
She went too
That's
far
a
with
thing.
that.
It is a thing.
We ain't create that.
So naturally, there's like how we talked about there being a level of vulnerability. There's a level of submission that must take place for the relationship to be cohesive and really to be what the Lord desires it to be within that specific friendship. So how do you guys navigate like submitting in your relationships, whether that's like on your job, that's with your spouse, parents, child, whatever that looks like? How does that, because I think submission is like it might be like a taboo word in our society,
culture.
right? It's like, what? Submit.
Exactly.
But it's definitely something that the Lord intended to be super beautiful, right? So what does that look like for you guys in your relationships, like on a daily basis?
Come on, brother. I don't know when she was talking. I just heard. Like,
all right, voice of the Lord. Come on.
The word discipline, discipline goes right along with submission.
Okay.
Like, I feel like it's equivalent. So I feel like if you're disciplined in your own life, then you're gonna find your way to submission.
And I think the segue into submission is trust. Like, I submit to things I trust. I submit to commands that I trust. Commands from people that I trust, or from things that I trust. And we submit to God because we trust Him. So that kind of goes.
A lot of people would, they get big on the submission portion of the Bible. Like, oh, the wife got to submit to the man. But fail to realize, like you said, that trust is an important thing, especially in the marriage. If you're not willing to trust your wife when she say, look, I need you to trust me on this one, you can't do this.
Right.
You're going to miss out on a lot with that.
For sure.
Definitely. That's good.
Let me play a little angel's advocate.
Oh,
Angel's
Lord.
advocate.
You see that right there?
I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why. Because at our jobs are not honorable, but we submit to them, right? So if you can submit to your job, you should be able to submit to the person who's your helpmeet, right?
Okay.
Now, when it comes down to, because a lot of young women have an issue with the word submission.
Yeah.
Obviously not the ladies in the room, right? But a lot of them do. But I'm gonna tell you this though. Look at all the women in the Bible. Sarah called Abraham Lord, and he did exactly what she told him to do. Right? Eve fed Adam fruit that he seen first. Did he or did he not see it first? Right? So the in submission you have influence. A lot of women forfeit their influence because they don't submit. Now the thing is, in order for
You slid that one in there.
That was a double.
No. So look,
People need to hear.
they forfeit their influence because they will not submit. But it's a caveat to that. The man has to submit to God. If he doesn't submit to God, then how do she submit to him? You reap what you sow. So if a man says you're supposed to submit to me, but you're not submitting to God, then how do you think that she's supposed to submit to you?
Right.
What standard is being set?
Exactly.
Ask yourself that question.
But that's the
before
biggest
you
problem
ask
with
anybody
submission
else a
in
question.
general, you know? It's the choice that you make, first of all, with the person that because like at the end of the day, like marriage is a choice. So you get to pick the person to have the best role in your life. And so you know whether or not you can trust somebody before you even made that step after marriage. You know, like it's like being married and say, all of a sudden I can't trust you. Well, you trust me enough to put that ring on my finger, like the biggest commitment at large, you know. But like what you said, that's real big. You know, like we forfeit our influence because we're not willing to submit. That's what you said. That's powerful.
I might have to write that down.
But then too, the Bible says though, like God says, don't do your work unto man, do your work unto the Lord. So when it comes down to it, there are a lot of times where you're put in certain positions where you might not like, you know what I'm saying, you might not like the environment, you may not like the people. But because of your relationship with God, you always have to be willing to submit because you understand too, like I'm not at this job because I like everybody here. I'm at this job in this season of my life because God has called me to it. Or I might not be liking my spouse right now, but just because you don't like your spouse right now doesn't say I get a day off in submission. And then the Bible says submit one to another. So it didn't say just wives submit to your husband. It says submit one to another. So there's a submission part where men have to submit to their wives as well. But it looks different. You know what I'm saying? It looks different, kind of what you said when she was calling Abraham Lord. You know what I'm saying? Like we should have that respect level there for our spouses as wives, but men should have that respect as it pertains to loving us properly. Because as you loving properly, then that gives the woman if you being loved properly, you're not gonna have a hard time with submission. What's wrong with it? But when something is like getting caught up in the swing of things, now that's where the trouble comes in at, you know?
And let's not forget too, like if you find your wife, you obtain a favor as well too. So like your job, why are you on your job? You're trying to make money, right?
Yes, sir.
So and that's not the ultimate goal, but you obtain a favor that comes with it.
Right. And also, let me give you a little revelation. Where did Eve come from? Adam, correct? Okay, so that means she is he. Right?
Yep.
So if God told me something, either he told her to, or when I give it to her, she'll receive.
Come on.
If
You might not
God
receive right off the
if
bat.
God said,
My God.
Amen.
Look,
All right,
the
look.
process vision is clear.
Let me approach this from another perspective.
All right.
Dig deeper, brother.
No.
They
So,
coming hard, y'all. It's
all right,
good.
I just thought about what does submission look like as a man in a marriage, right? Servant leadership.
Yeah.
Say it again.
Servant
leadership.
leadership.
Servant leadership.
And it's willing to be inconvenienced, right? And so if I'm leaving work and I'm ready to get home, take a shower, and lay down, and she says, "Hey, can you please stop at the store and grab X, Y, and Z?" Right? Right. So in that moment, I could buck against it, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'm not doing that. I would just want to lay down. It's been a long day, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it's like this is a need. This is something that my wife asked me to do, right? And my wife is my first ministry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so
Yep.
it's showing her what it looks like to submit, right? And so just follow my lead, right?
Yeah,
Follow me as I
that's
follow
good, that's
Christ.
good.
That's
And
good.
so servant leadership
Yes,
is what it looks like.
I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna buck a little bit.
Yes.
I'm gonna buck a
Yes.
little bit.
Yes.
Get that slap when you go home.
Hey, but you gotta understand though. Also,
Yes.
as the wife, sometimes the wife will pull back. If she call you and she be like, "I need this," and then you be like, "Okay," and she can read that
Oh, yeah,
you're
she doing. Don't worry about it.
that you're tired.
You know what?
She be like,
We'll
"Don't
just
worry
let
about
her
it."
Yeah.
Look, one thing I can admire about my wife is she will be mad at me because I don't get rest.
Yeah.
Now I'll been to work 10 hours, do some ministry, go and talk to somebody and be there for 2-3 hours because we talking about God and it's so good to me. And she'll be mad at me because now you've been up for like 20 hours and you got to get back up in the morning.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I admire that because she's worried about me. It's not that she's mad that I'm doing ministry. It's you didn't rest.
Right.
Right?
Right. That's good.
Ooh, man, that can go so many ways. Talking about submission, like,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, too, like, we don't submit. A lot of times people submit to certain things because they feel like they're going to get something out of it. I think it's also understanding, too, like, you don't always submit just because you feel like you're going to be benefited from it.
Yeah.
But understanding at the end of the day, like, the ultimate goal, because a marriage is a teamwork. So knowing that whatever I'm putting in, at the end of the day, the Lord going to bless me regardless of the fact whether it's received by my spouse or whether it's received by my coworkers, whether it's received by my church members, whoever that I'm putting in that position for. That's why God says at the end of the day, like, know that your work is not unto man. Because when it's really unto God at the end of the day, like, He's going to be the one that's going to take care of you.
Right.
Even when people, because you can be submitting, you can be doing all things right, and people still won't give you the recognition you deserve, or sometimes it may go over in some people's head. But really understanding at the end of the day, like, God sees you. You know what I'm saying? But I love the different perspectives, like, that was solid.
Yeah.
So with that being said, though, we talking about submission, and I like what Harry said. Like, I'm a buck a little bit because sometimes we be in our feelings about a lot of stuff because we can say it all the time, or we can, you know what I'm saying, it can come off that way, like, oh, we gonna be on it. But in reality, sometimes you don't feel like submitting. Sometimes you just don't feel like doing things that you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So we gonna talk about feelings. So. What do y'all be feeling like with men when it comes down to men? Do y'all be in y'all feelings?
We
Just a
feel
little-
everything
a little
y'all
bit?
feel.
Right.
Okay.
For real.
Like
We
what
just
we
manage
talking
it better.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I
More logical.
I wasn't gonna take it.
Wait, I
away.
didn't mean that. I didn't mean that.
Like my wife watching.
Yeah.
We think.
What do we feel?
I ain't gonna say nothing.
I'm not gonna lie.
Stay out of it. Stay out of it, man. Stay out of it.
They're making us dig a hole for ourselves.
I'll just tell you how it looked like for me.
Yeah, that's good.
Because I'm more of a slow to speak when I'm upset, angry.
Sir.
That's true.
But I'll be emotionally unavailable, like real talk. So when I'm upset,
The turn on us.
I shut down. So like it no matter who it is. So it could be a friend, but most importantly, when me and my wife have those hard conversations, I'll be like, okay,
Yeah.
let's just get the conversation over with. Just so we can get past it.
And
But
get back to the peace.
right, but
Brothers just want peace.
see, you say so look, you
That's a
say
good
that, but we've already structured like, okay, you be bad for this 5-10 minutes, and let's come back and have a conversation.
Yeah.
So no matter how mad I am or how mad she is, we always come. We ain't gonna never go to bed mad at each other. Oh no, we'll go to bed mad at each other. But I ain't sleeping on no couch.
You ain't sleep on the couch.
We're gonna put a number.
I'm all the way back in there.
Trying to snuggle and everything else.
I may not go to sleep that night, but I ain't sleeping on no couch.
I might stand up. I ain't sleeping on no couch.
This is your feeling, guys.
Now this the crazy one. My wife is just like you.
Yeah.
She'll cut it off. I'm like, man, we having a conversation. She feels like it's an argument. She will shut it down. I'm like, bro.
She gangster.
But hold up. Now
strong for that.
check. I told her when we got married, I don't care how mad we are, I will not sleep. I said, we bought this bed together. We're gonna sleep in this bed together.
Come on, right.
And see what she would do is she'll think I'm asleep, and she will leave the bed and go on the couch.
Oh.
I don't sleep that hard.
Oh, you hard headed. Okay.
I get on the other couch.
Right.
What?
I get on the other couch.
Oh, we don't sleep here
We
together.
gonna sleep in here together.
Oh, we cooking tonight. Okay.
That part, right?
Let's do
What's up,
it.
my part?
I know when you ain't in the bed.
Yeah.
I can feel when you ain't there. My peace is gone. We gonna either work it out. We're gonna either work it out, or we're gonna sleep on these couches.
That looks a little different in my head.
Okay.
Because like for me, an argument, y'all in the same space, y'all bumping heads, y'all clearly don't agree, and there's an argument, at hand. For me, like my best thing to do is separate, process my thoughts, talk out loud, talk to myself out loud, and discuss with myself how I feel. And I might be wrong and come to realization that I'm wrong in that moment and be able to go back and reconvene. But space for me is probably the best option sometimes, because if we going at it and we both spitting out emotions and feelings and all that, sometimes I'm gonna say some things that I really don't mean. You know what I'm saying? So that space for me, and I think it's subjective to your personality type and the way that you process. But for me, that space is super important, specifically in the middle of it.
I hope to get there.
I'm with you.
I got a question.
Because when I'm mad, because it goes two different ways.
mad.
When she mad, it's
The
different.
wives are going over
When I'm mad,
Get out
I
the
have
way.
to be quiet.
Right.
They locked in.
And I gotta walk out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How much space is too much space?
Don't.
Now that you said that,
If
I'm
we
just
mad,
curious.
if we mad, we not leaving the house.
Right.
Cause anything can happen, and we don't need that happening.
Oh, you shouldn't leave the house.
You here and I'm here
shouldn't.
on bad terms. You ain't leaving the house. It ain't no leaving the house. You can go sit in that car. You can go sit in the driveway.
I'm gonna go drive to the
Don't
park
leave
and
the
I'm
house.
gonna come back. All right.
Okay.
FYI,
And we not gonna argue in public.
Look, FYI, the park right
We not doing
there.
it.
Right out there.
Ain't no
You did that
park.
maybe once or twice.
You better park in that driveway.
I take a long time to process emotion. So it's like,
What's a long time?
I don't know.
That's a long
Depending on the
time.
situation.
You don't even know.
Yeah, I don't know. So like a lot of times,
See real smooth.
a lot of times, I might think about like, am I tripping right now? Right, and so I might be emotionally unavailable for those processing moments. Like I'm trying to figure out, is this really an issue? Do I want to bring this up? Should I look at this from another angle? Okay, let me talk to my dad real quick. Pops, what you think about this? And a lot of times,
Talk to your dad.
a lot of times it turns back to well, Brandon, did you do this? Right, and so a lot of my issues, right, are some kind of way they kind of make their way back to something that I'm not managing correctly.
Yeah.
And so I think that's part of the reason why I try to process my stuff, because before I bring this to my wife and make this an issue, let me get myself straight and like take accountability for what I got going on first before I bring this to her, And I'm gonna be honest, because I'm not a confrontational person, sometimes if things blow over, I just let it slide. But I think what happens if you never say something about how you really feel, and then you'll kind of end up living in this angry box, and the other person just living life, just going on about, going on about their married life. You know what I'm saying? Not ever knowing that they offended you some type of way, and now you creating this toxic little box to where you just mad all the time, and you just still holding all that stuff in, and so process it, talk about it, and then finally bring it to the table.
I agree with that like wholeheartedly. Because if we were to go back to the submission question. If you, like, I'll say my example, we'll argue and I'll shut down. But because she is my helpmate, and I've already had that submission to let me listen to what she has to say instead of completely ignore it. Her questions are, how you feel, what's wrong, what's making you mad, what did I say that's wrong, and that opens me up to
Right.
Okay,
let's have this conversation. Let's
You gotta be a counselor sometimes in your own marriage.
Like all
I
the
like
time.
that.
all the time.
No, that's really the Holy Spirit being a counselor in your marriage.
Right.
Because the Holy Spirit had to give somebody
Revelation.
the wherewithal to ask those
We
questions.
can't both be
Yeah.
blowing up.
I would
and
never-
fussing. That's so good.
Somebody has to
me
be
before marriage. I would never have I'm like, look, we'll go a month without talking. I'll be
I'd
fine.
be just fine, man.
But I'm glad she brought that out because
Yeah.
That's a hard place to be in, and I think it's like a protecting mechanism,
Yeah,
like
that's
protecting
exactly what it
yourself,
is.
protecting your peace, so you kind of just negate all.
But it sucks though, because you're not free to be yourself.
Right.
Like if you just holding it, it's like you can't really operate in the
That's
fullness
why-
of your relationship.
Right. So,
Yeah,
like what I
because it's
said.
like I want to joke with her, but
Right.
That's why I say you gotta also watch like how you're communicating too, because a lot of times we learn like a lot of things that we were going through. We were doing the same exact things to each other, but she was communicating in a different way. It might have been me yelling at one time. It might have been her communicating facts. But then she was trying to get me to like understand like, hey, I'm trying to get us to be practical in this regard. And it might be vice versa. She might have been yelling and I might have been trying to get her to understand like, okay, this step by step makes sense. Why can't we go this direction? So if we're both not understanding that, hey, I'm trying to communicate out of humility and you're trying to communicate out of, it might be frustration and humility at the same time going on. But we got to come to a double agreement to say like, okay, let's both operate out of humility as well too.
Yeah. Would y'all say like timing is everything?
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
really depends on
It
who you
depends.
are.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I'm more of I'll be lenient to have a conversation no matter how mad I am. I just won't talk. So I will listen, but I just won't talk.
He said he wanted to have a conversation, but I just
she just is frustrated.
So what do you think about that? She used to tell me why. If I feel like I'm talking to a wall, I'll be like, I'm listening.
Oh, y'all listening.
Right, but I think in some cases, with some men and women, they like to speak and then want a response.
Yeah.
But in some conversations, you'll see if you don't have nothing good to say, don't say it.
Right.
That's what I live by. So if I don't have nothing to say at all, I'm not gonna speak. Whether I'm feeling bad or feeling good, I'm just not gonna create a response to your answer or your rebuttal.
I'm big on that. I like that.
I got one more question. So I think we've been talking about this a lot in society. So like you guys, I'm just like been hearing like a tendency to suppress some emotions. Do y'all feel like that's like something you've been taught, or that's just a natural
survival skills?
like?
That's how I was. Not how I was raised, but I was raised around a lot of women. So I was nothing but talking. I'm like, I'm tired of it. I'm tired of hearing it. But being married, you have to learn how to talk.
Yes, sir.
So it's definitely has been
Say
a
that again.
That's a good.
Say it for the people in the back.
being married, you definitely have to learn how to talk
You
and
have to
express your
learn.
feelings.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, it will be you will miss a lot.
Yeah,
A lot of unsaid feelings, and you cannot avoid that mistake the next time. So if you don't have that conversation, you could repeat the same thing over and over again.
And I think it's also important to understand the culture that your partner come from too.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Like, if your wife is the type, like she come from a family that didn't really fuss about nothing, they just walk around like everything cool, and it's like toxic in the house, but they never talk about it. And you come from a family where y'all always hollering and screaming, and that's how y'all work things out. And now y'all two get married. It's gonna be hard for y'all to work things out because it's two separate ways of dealing with issues that y'all got to work out. So it's some growing pains in there.
I always say that, bro.
1000%. All right, you guys. Let's pause for one moment. Let's chill out for one moment, and we're gonna be back.
Wasn't that incredible? Brothers on the Bench came and shut it down, y'all. That was just part 1. So guess what? You have to return for part 2. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that bell notification so that you can stay up to date with the next video when it's going to be released. So please, please, please go ahead and share. Be sure to leave a comment. Let us know what you thought about today's video. It was so awesome to have Brothers on the Bench to share some wisdom and some insight on the male's perspective. All right, you guys, 2023, we coming in harder. This is Truth Talks with Toya. Thanks for watching.